Title: Terms and Conditions. Chapter 1: The Meeting. Sophia Williams hated James Carter before she ever spoke to him. Not because she knew him, but because everyone else did. The James Carter, her colleague whispered that morning, eyes wide. He's the reason 3 departments got restructured last year. Sophia didn't look up from her laptop. Good for him. No, not good. Terrifying. That got her attention. She slowly lifted her head just as the glass doors of the conference room swung open. And there he was. Tall. Impeccably dressed, the kind of man who didn't just walk into a room, he took ownership of it. His charcoal suit fit like it had been stitched onto him. His expression? Controlled. Cold. Calculated. James Carter. He didn't smile. Didn't nod. Didn't acknowledge anyone. Until his eyes landed on her. And lingered. Sophia frowned slightly. What was that about? Let's begin, he said, his voice low and commanding as he took the head seat. No introduction. No pleasantries. Just authority. Chapter 2: Collision Course. I've reviewed your campaign proposal, James said 10 minutes later, flipping a page with deliberate slowness. Sophia leaned back in her chair, arms crossed. And it's inefficient. Her jaw tightened. I beg your pardon? He looked up at her, finally giving her his full attention. It lacks strategic depth. The numbers are optimistic at best, unrealistic at worst. A few people shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Sophia didn't. With all due respect, she said coolly, that campaign increased engagement by 37% in Q2. And with better execution, he replied smoothly, it could have been 60. Silence. Tension. The air between them snapped like a live wire. You think you can do better? She challenged. His lips curved slightly, not quite a smile, more like a warning. I don't think, Ms. Williams. I know. Chapter 3: War Begins. From that day on, it became a silent battle. Emails turned into arguments. Meetings turned into debates. Every suggestion Sophia made, James questioned. Every decision James made, Sophia pushed back. They clashed over strategy, leadership, control. But beneath it all? Something else was building. Something neither of them acknowledged. Chapter 4: The First Crack. It happened late one evening. The office was empty, lights dimmed, city glowing outside the windows. Sophia was still at her desk when she heard footsteps. She didn't need to look up. You're still here, James said. So are you. A pause. Then. You stayed to fix the projections, he said. I stayed because I don't like being told I'm wrong. Another pause. Then something unexpected. You weren't entirely wrong. Sophia blinked. Slowly looked up. Did you just compliment me? Don't get used to it. But there was something different in his tone. Softer. Less guarded. And when their eyes met this time, it wasn't just tension. It was awareness. Chapter 5: The Shift. The next few weeks changed everything. Arguments became conversations. Conversations became late-night collaborations. And those turned into something dangerously close to understanding. Sophia started noticing things, the way James loosened his tie when he was stressed. How he trusted her ideas, even if he never said it out loud. How his voice softened only when speaking to her. And James? He noticed everything, her stubbornness. Her brilliance. The way she refused to be intimidated by him. Especially that. Chapter 6: The Breaking Point. You don't trust anyone, do you? Sophia said one night, frustration slipping through. James's expression hardened. Trust is a liability. No, she shot back, stepping closer, it's a choice. Their argument escalated quickly. Too quickly. Until suddenly. They were standing inches apart. Breathing the same air. Eyes locked. Angry. But not just angry. "You're impossible," she whispered. "And yet," he murmured, gaze dropping briefly to her lips, "you're still here." That was the moment everything shifted. Chapter 7, The Kiss. Sophia didn't remember who moved first. Maybe it was him. Maybe it was her. But suddenly, his hand was at her waist, pulling her closer. And her fingers were gripping his shirt. And then, they kissed. Not soft. Not hesitant. But intense. Messy. Long overdue. Like every argument had been leading to this exact moment. Chapter 8, Consequences. The next morning? Reality hit. They were still, boss and employee, rivals in the same company, two people who should not be involved. But the problem? Neither of them wanted to stop. Chapter 9, The Offer. Sophia should have walked away. She knew it the second James Carter stepped into her office and closed the door behind him. That quiet click? It sounded like a bad decision. "What do you want?" she asked, not looking up from her screen. "A solution." Her fingers stilled. Slowly, she raised her eyes to his. "And what problem are we solving, Mr. Carter?" His gaze didn't waver. "Us." Silence filled the room. Dangerous. Heavy. Unavoidable. Sophia leaned back in her chair, crossing her arms. "There is no us." James took a step closer. There was a kiss. That was a mistake. Another step. "Then why are you still thinking about it?" Her breath caught. Just for a second. But he noticed. Of course he did. Chapter 10, Terms and Conditions. He placed a document on her desk. Neat. Structured. Precise. Very James. Sophia looked at it, then back at him. "You brought paperwork?" "I don't do anything without structure." She let out a short laugh. "You're unbelievable. Yet you're still here." Her jaw tightened. "Explain." He nodded once. "A contract. Between us. We explore, whatever this is. Privately. Without affecting work." Sophia raised a brow. "You want to schedule a relationship?" "I want control over variables that could damage both our careers." She flipped through the pages. And her amusement faded. Because he was serious. Key terms: no public displays of affection. No discussion of the relationship during work hours. Absolute confidentiality. Either party can terminate at any time. Emotions are not to interfere with professional decisions. Sophia looked up slowly. "Emotions are not to interfere," she repeated. "Yes. That's your condition?" "That's the only way this works." She studied him carefully. "You really think feelings are optional?" "I think they're manageable." She stood. Walked around the desk. Stopped right in front of him. "Say I agree," she said softly. "What exactly are you offering, James?" His eyes darkened slightly. "Exclusivity." Her pulse quickened. "And control?" A pause. Then, quieter. "No." For the first time. There was something real in his voice. Something unguarded. "Not control," he said. "Just, you." Chapter 11, The Signature. She should have said no. Instead, Sophia picked up the pen. Signed her name. And just like that, everything changed. Chapter 12, Behind Closed Doors. At first, it was easy. Too easy. They followed the rules. In public, professional. Distant. Sharp with each other. Behind closed doors? It was something else entirely. James wasn't cold. Not with her. He was intense. Focused. Deliberate in everything he did. Every touch felt intentional. Every glance, loaded. And Sophia? She told herself it was just physical, just temporary. Just the contract. Chapter 13, The Cracks in Control. It started small. James, bringing her coffee without being asked. Remembering things she didn't expect him to notice. Staying longer than necessary just to be near her. Sophia, waiting for his messages. Noticing when he was stressed. Caring, more than she should. One night, she looked at him and said, "This isn't just physical anymore." James went still. "Yes, it is." "No," she whispered. "It's not." He stepped closer. Close enough that she could feel the conflict in him. "You're breaking the terms, Sophia." Maybe the terms are the problem. Chapter 14, The Rule They Couldn't Keep. The contract had one rule, no emotions. That was the first one to break. Chapter 15, The Moment Everything Shifted. It happened on a night neither of them planned. No meetings. No excuses. Just them. James looked at her differently. Not like someone he desired. But like someone he couldn't lose. "Sophia," he said, quieter than she'd ever heard him. She felt it. That shift. That dangerous, irreversible shift. "You're not supposed to say my name like that," she murmured. "Like what?" "Like I matter." A pause. Then. "You do." Chapter 16, The Beginning of the End, or Beginning. And that was the problem. Because the moment feelings entered, the contract became meaningless. Chapter 17, The Third Variable. His name was Daniel Reed. And Sophia noticed him immediately, not because he was extraordinary, but because he was easy. Easy smile. Easy conversation. Easy presence. Everything James Carter was not. "You're the genius behind the Q2 campaign?" Daniel asked, leaning casually against her desk. Sophia smirked. "I like to think so. I'd love to pick your brain over dinner." Simple. Direct. No power plays. No tension. Just interest. And for a second, just a second, it felt refreshing. "Maybe," she said. And that one word? Was a mistake. Chapter 18, Watching. James saw it. Of course he did. From across the office, his eyes tracked every interaction. Every laugh. Every second Daniel stood too close. "What do you think of Reed?" one of the executives asked casually during a meeting. James didn't look up from his file. "He's competent." A pause. "Seems interested in your team." That got his attention. Finally, James looked up. "Is there a point to this conversation?" A knowing smile. Just an observation. But James already knew. And he didn't like it. Not one bit. Chapter 19, Breaking Point. That evening, Sophia walked into the conference room expecting silence. Instead, she found James. Waiting. The door shut behind her. Locked. "You're going to dinner with him," he said, voice low. Not a question. A statement. Sophia dropped her bag slowly. "And if I am?" His jaw tightened. "You signed a contract." She crossed her arms.